In the early hours of February 28, 2026, a series of explosions shook parts of Tehran. For several minutes, there was confusion. Iranian state television went silent, social media lit up with rumors, and intelligence agencies around the world suddenly began paying very close attention. Then the reports started to surface. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the most powerful man in Iran, had been killed. Not by illness, not by political upheaval, but by a precision strike carried out during a joint military operation involving the United States and Israel. If true, this would mark one of the most consequential assassinations in modern geopolitical history. The leader who had dominated Iranian politics for more than 3 decades, eliminated in a single night. But how did this happen? And why would Washington and Jerusalem take the enormous risk of targeting the leader of one of the most powerful states in the Middle East? To understand the strike that shocked the world, we need to start with the man himself. The man who ruled Iran for decades. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei had been Iran's supreme leader since 1989. For over 30 years, he stood at the center of the Islamic Republic's power structure. In Iran's political system, the supreme leader is not just a religious authority. He is the ultimate decision-maker. He controls the armed forces. He appoints key figures across the government. And he holds enormous influence over foreign policy, military strategy, and national security. Every major decision in Iran ultimately passed through his authority. Over time, Khamenei became the central figure behind Iran's strategy in the Middle East. Support for regional allies, confrontation with Western powers, and a long-running standoff with Israel. For decades, tensions between Israel and Iran simmered just below the surface. But by early 2026, those tensions were reaching a breaking point. The night of the strike, the operation began quietly. In the early hours of February 28th, waves of coordinated strikes targeted several locations across Iran. Military installations, missile storage sites, and command centers connected to Iran's security infrastructure. But one target stood out from the rest. A highly secured compound believed to be hosting senior members of Iran's leadership. According to intelligence assessments, the compound had recently been used for high-level meetings. And on that particular night, there were strong indications that the supreme leader himself might be present. Within minutes of the strike, the building was engulfed in flames. The precision of the attack suggested something extraordinary. This wasn't just another airstrike. It was a decapitation strike, an operation designed to eliminate the leadership of a government. For hours, no official confirmation came. But behind the scenes, intelligence agencies were already piecing together what had happened. The strike had hit its target, and the most powerful man in Iran had likely been inside. Years of intelligence. Operations like this don't happen overnight. Targeting a national leader requires an enormous amount of intelligence work. Satellite surveillance, signals interception, human sources. All of these tools play a role in identifying patterns, movements, and moments of vulnerability. For years, both American and Israeli intelligence agencies had monitored the movements of Iran's senior leadership. But leaders like Khamenei rarely expose themselves. Their locations are heavily guarded and constantly changing. That means an opportunity like this is extremely rare. When the intelligence suggested that the supreme leader might be present at that compound, the decision window was incredibly small. The strike had to be precise, fast, and undeniable. Because if the target escaped, the opportunity might never come again. Shock inside Iran. When the news broke, shock spread rapidly across Iran. Authorities quickly declared a period of national mourning. Government officials vowed that retaliation would come. For millions of Iranians, Khamenei had been a constant presence for decades. Some saw him as the guardian of the Islamic Republic. Others viewed him as the symbol of an entrenched political system. But regardless of opinion, his sudden death created an enormous power vacuum. The biggest question became immediate and unavoidable. Who would take control now? The succession. Iran's political system is designed to handle moments like this. A body known as the Assembly of Experts is responsible for selecting the country's supreme leader. Within days of the strike, this council convened. The decision came faster than many analysts expected. Khamenei's son, Mojtaba Khamenei, was selected as the new supreme leader. The transition happened quickly, and importantly, the system did not collapse. In fact, it appeared to stabilize faster than many observers had predicted. Rather than chaos, Iran's leadership structure moved to consolidate power, which raised an uncomfortable question for those who had ordered the strike. What if removing the leader didn't change the system at all? Why the strike happened? From Israel's perspective, Iran's leadership has long been viewed as the driving force behind several armed groups operating across the region. From Lebanon to Syria to Iraq, Israeli officials have repeatedly argued that Iran's leadership enables these networks through funding, weapons, and strategic direction. From the American perspective, tensions had also been rising over Iran's missile programs and nuclear ambitions. The strike may have been seen as a way to disrupt Iran's command structure at the highest level. But history shows that leadership decapitation strategies are unpredictable. Sometimes they weaken a regime. Other times they strengthen it. Because removing a leader can rally a population rather than divide it. The immediate consequences. The aftermath of the strike was immediate. Missiles were launched toward Israeli territory. Military bases across the region were placed on high alert. Allies of Iran signaled that retaliation was inevitable. And tensions began spreading across multiple fronts. But the consequences weren't limited to military responses. Global energy markets reacted almost instantly. The Strait of Hormuz, a narrow waterway through which a massive portion of the world's oil supply travels, suddenly became the center of global concern. Even small disruptions there can send energy prices soaring. Within days, markets around the world were reacting to the uncertainty. The assassination of one leader had triggered a chain reaction far beyond Iran's borders. The strategic gamble. The strike that killed Ayatollah Khamenei may have removed one of the most powerful figures in the Middle East. But it also introduced enormous uncertainty. Iran's leadership remains intact. Its military capabilities remain active. And the regional conflict that led to the strike continues to unfold. Decapitation strikes can change wars, but they rarely end them overnight. Instead, they often open a new and unpredictable chapter. The assassination of Iran's supreme leader will likely be studied by historians and military strategists for decades. A leader who shaped the direction of an entire nation for more than 30 years was suddenly gone. Yet the system he led did not disappear with him, and the geopolitical struggle that defined his rule continues. The question now isn't just how this strike happened. The real question is what comes next. Because when the leader of a powerful nation is killed in a military operation, the consequences rarely stay contained for long.